Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. Today I am trying out a new technique for knife making. Specifically, I want to try casting a monolithic aluminum hilt onto a knife blade. With some types of blade steel, this would present a problem, because the heat of molten aluminum would re-anneal the blade, or at least portions of it, during the casting process, and yet it could not be re-hardened without also remelting the aluminum. However, Type D2 tool steel is extremely difficult to anneal. So I think that if I start with a properly hardened D2 blade, I will probably be able to cast the hilt without softening the blade too much. Thus, I started by forging the rough shape of the blade out of a piece of 1/2-inch D2 drill rod. After forging, I cleaned up the blade with an angle grinder and ground it to the desired shape. Then I heated the blade until it glowed bright orange and quenched it in canola oil to ensure it would be fully hardened. Next, I coated the tang of the blade with polyurethane foam. After the foam had cured, I carved it down to the shape of the hilt that I wanted. There were some pretty substantial voids in the foam, so I ended up wrapping the foam handle in aluminum foil in hopes of sealing off the voids. Next, I put the knife inside a large tin can, which I packed full of casting sand, leaving just the tip of the foam handle exposed. I melted some scrap aluminum and poured it into the mold. After it had cooled, I dumped out the mold and broke off the excess aluminum at the top. The mold didn't fill out very well. It looked like the aluminum had flowed down one side of the tang and then around it, but didn't quite fully join on the other side, and there was a void at the top of the casting that functionally made the handle shorter than it was supposed to be and left part of the tang sticking out. Nevertheless, I cleaned up the handle as best I could and textured the sides using a fly cutter in my milling machine. After final sharpening, the knife was complete. Strictly speaking, I would say this project was successful. Even with the incomplete mold fill-out, I think the handle is still pretty robust, even if it is a little short. As far as I can tell, the blade retained a good level of hardness. So, in a general sense, I think this method of knife making is viable. However, my experience also underscores the fact that casting is both an art and a science, and one that is not necessarily easy to master. In any case, thanks for watching the Idahoan Show.